So I'm going to start today just by talking about what 211 is. I know a lot of us do know this. However, there may be some people in the room who aren't so familiar. So if you are new to the role or you're not entirely sure what we do at 211, it's going to be just a really quick, brief overview of 211. We're going to talk a little bit about the Michigan 211 website, as well as our local Central Michigan 211 website, finding your organization and what's offered on those websites. And then we'll go a little bit further into our actual training. What is a 211 reviewer? Would that be you for your organization or someone else? How we update our information and those changes that have happened in that updating process. And then, of course, we do have a question answer time at the end, and then I'll kind of pause throughout as well to answer any questions that might be coming up. So 211, we are a free, easy to use, easy to remember phone number. We're available 24/7, 365 days a year, providing information and referral for health and human service needs across the entire state of Michigan. And we work with 6 different 211 centers across the state. We are a completely confidential and anonymous service to use, and our staff are specially trained to assess for need, problem solve, screen for eligibility, and then refer to the appropriate resources in their area. We're also Inform USA accredited. So this is an accreditation process that we're actually going through right now to renew that accreditation. We have several partnerships as well. So the biggest one that many of you might already be aware of is with Department of Health and Human Services, the My Bridges program. We also do have partnerships between United Way Worldwide and AARP, and then also through the healthcare marketplace. So there is a support service provided through what's known as NEMI, that's Northeast Michigan 211. If you do have a client that is struggling with gaining access to that healthcare marketplace or navigating that health insurance system, they can call 211 and get connected to some of those support services and helping navigate that system. So these numbers here, we are still working on compiling all of the data for 2024. So unfortunately, I can't provide that. However, I did want to share the information that we do have from 2023. So in Ingham County, there were over 21,000 calls, Eaton County, close to 4,000, and then Clinton, just over 2,000 calls for that county in 2023. You can see all 3 counties shared the same top 3 needs. So electric service assistance, help with rent, and then the VITA program sites, which is that free income tax appointment service that 211 helps schedule for. And then the unmet needs as well, you can see that they are very similar. However, one thing I do want to point out is in Ingham County, those top unmet needs were actually rent payment and rental deposit. You're not seeing the utilities there. So if you are an Ingham County organization, that might be something that you want to take note of if you do have different grant opportunities, or if you're seeking kind of something that you can be doing to better help in the community, focusing on that rent and getting people into new housing is a good place to start. I also want to point out here that in the Tri-County area, we have about 330 organizations listing just for these 3 counties. And this doesn't include the state or national organizations. That's just local organizations helping in the community. So we're going to talk a little bit about the websites, both through Michigan 211 and Central Michigan 211. So Michigan 211, that's mi211.org. You can learn about the whole statewide program of Michigan 211. And if you go directly to the providers page, that link that's showing on the screen now, you can actually search your organization by name. There's trainings offered there and more specific information for organizations. You can also visit our local website, centralmichigan211.org. This is going to be more local data. So if you are interested in viewing our quarterly reports or annual reports, if you want to see what needs are being asked for in your community or surrounding communities, you can access that information right through that local website. You can search for resources there. And you can see we assist 10 counties here at Central Michigan 211. So that's Clinton, Eaton, Genesee, Hillsdale, Ingham, Jackson, Lenawee, Livingston, Monroe, and Shiawassee counties. So we do have a formal update process. Every year with our accreditation through Inform USA, we will ask every organization to review their information listing with us. We do prefer that that be done through our new online portal, which we'll be talking about today. But those reviews can also be completed just through email, phone, mail, or fax. Basically, any method is okay. Again, we do prefer that online portal though, so you can see the information directly and make changes directly. And of course, we do update things throughout the year as well. So we learn about different updates happening. Sometimes that's directly from an organization reaching out to us, but that can also happen through collaboration efforts or attending different community meetings. Sometimes it is from a caller who reached out to us and we follow up with them and we find out that, you know, an agency that we directed them to wasn't helping. And so then we are reaching out to those contacts and asking, you know, is this an eligibility issue or was this a funding issue? And we can learn some of those changes that way too. Again, this information can be updated over the phone, through email, by mail, but we do always recommend that right through the online portal. It is the fastest way to get those changes over. And anything urgent, we would ask that you contact us directly. I will put my information in the chat. And then I also do have it at the end of the PowerPoint. So if something happens with weather, you know, if a phone number changes or hours change, you can do that through the portal, or you can just send me an email or give me a call. Let me know what's happening and we can get that updated for you. So sorry about that, before we move on, I just want to stop here. This is just kind of general 211 information and make sure that we don't have any questions at this point. So is there any questions at this point?
Angel, this is just this is 211 is for phone calls, not texting, correct?
So you can actually text 211 as well. So if you text your zip code to 898-211, you can initiate a text conversation. If you go on our website, you can do a live chat with a specialist. You can also send an email to 211. That's right on our website too. Or you can call. So we've got kind of a variety of ways that you can reach out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to move into what is a 211 reviewer. Different organizations, different individuals have called this different things. So I just want to highlight it's the same thing, an updater, a verifier, a contact. All of these words have been used interchangeably with reviewer in the past. This is the person that's responsible for your organization, keeping their information up to date in our 211 database system. This is going to be the person that's contacted every year and asked to complete the annual review of their record. And they're typically the person that's going to be contacted throughout the year as well if I am checking in on, you know, availability of funding, hours, address changes, phone number changes, things like that as well that may happen to come up. Sometimes you guys may list a specific contact for a program, so we try to reach out to them directly if that's the case. But a lot of times the reviewer is that main source of contact for the resource specialists at 211. Now, the main point why we're here are these major changes that have been happening with 211. Back in 2022, we did launch iCarol as our database system. The update process was a little unique in that you were emailed a hyperlink for your updates every year. That email and the link that was within that email did expire. So if you didn't open it within the designated time frame, you were unable to get back inside. In order to view your record outside of your update month, you would have to call or email the resource specialists directly, and then we would have to ask the system to send you another link to view your record. Now, we have recently just launched this community organization portal. This happened in 2024. And pilot organizations, there were 6 across the state that tested its usage in August. They did provide some feedback. I know some things were updated and changed. But again, this is a new system. So we are working on those updates regularly, trying to make it more user-friendly. So please just share any feedback that you have regarding it as you're using it. With the community organization portal, profiles are being created. So this means you can log in at any time throughout the year, view your record, submit changes as needed. It's not something that you have to reach out to me every single time you are needing a change. You can do that yourself. So Another big change is, again, making that profile. So you're going to receive an email. Anyone that's listed as a contact, even if you're not necessarily a reviewer, you should be receiving an email from notifications@uwjcmi211.org. Within that email, it will ask you to create a profile. Once your profile is created, you can log in at portal.mi211.org whenever you would like to review and update that information. And if you're marked as a reviewer, you're going to receive an email every year asking that you complete that annual review. And we'll go more in depth about what those emails are going to look like and what that portal is going to look like as we move further along in this training. So this right here is going to be the main email that you're going to get. So when you're first invited into the portal, and many of you may have already seen this email, asking you to create an account to join the community organization portal. You're going to want to click on this little blue box here that says create account. When you click the create account, you should be taken to a page that looks like this. The green should be your email address, and you're going to set up a password that you're going to remember. It can be anything. You just got to follow kind of their guidelines here and make sure that you enter it the same, and then click continue. And as long as you're following those guidelines, you should be taken to a screen that looks like this. It says you're all set. You can now access the portal and begin managing your organization's records. Now, once you do that and you click on portal login, you should be taken to a page that looks similar to this. So this is going to be what the community organization portal looks like on the login page. And that's, again, the portal.mi211.org. I am telling everyone that they should go ahead and bookmark that page, remember that page, write down your password, remember your password. That's what you're going to use moving forward in order to access your information in the system. So if you receive this email, we're going to hypothetically say that you get this email and it takes you a little bit of time before you are able to create an account. Now, again, something with this system that has been a touchy subject, everybody has different opinions on how long these links should stay active on creating profiles because contacts are in and out of organizations. So at this time, when you click create account, there is a time frame that link will be active. Right now, I think it's about 3 days, I want to say, from the time you receive the email. That could shift and change. But when you click create account, if you are taken to a page, sorry that it is a little blurry, but if you're taken to a page that looks similar to this is telling you that link is no longer active. So what you're going to do is make sure that one, you have time to wait for the email to come in and that you're going to be able to create the account when that email does arrive. Because again, right now, the time frame for that link being valid is going to be about an hour. That could potentially be moved back to 15 minutes. So just a heads up, if you do receive this page and you need to have that email resent to you, make sure that you have the time to do that. So you'll just click on email me the link and wait for another email to arrive, again, from that notifications@uwjcmi211.org. When you receive this email, it's actually going to be a little bit different. It's going to be orange instead of blue. And this is going to tell you that you can go ahead and create a new account. You're going to want to click the orange box that says use account setup link. And you're again going to be taken to the same page. So you're going to go through the same process you would have gone through originally. You'll create your password, click continue, and get the You're All Set page. Once you get that You're All Set page and click the portal login, you should be directed straight to the community organization portal. Again, bookmark that page. And I'm going to go ahead, we'll stop right here as well. I know there have been different kind of concerns and issues that come up in creating those accounts. So I just want to make sure that I'm making everything clear, that I'm not missing anything. So if anyone had any questions about that process, now is a good time to ask.
Angel, just a clarification. The expiration and the having to do it immediately is once you have had it set up and you can go to the portal, how long does this, like if you have a name and a password to log in, does that stay in place then? Like permanently until that person
Yes.
is no, okay.
Yep. So yes, yep. So once you create that password, you'll use your email address and password, and you'll be able to log in at any time. Um, this can also we can add new contacts as well at any time. So if you maybe you've been the reviewer, but your job title is changing or someone is coming in your place, you can let us know and we can create them an invitation. They would get emailed that same link, and then they can make their own account to log in. So contacts, if you are just a contact and not a reviewer, you will still be able to log in and view all of the details of your agency. You're just not going to be emailed and asked to complete your annual review.
There's a question in the chat, Angel. How many accounts or how many reviewers are allowed per organization?
I'm not sure that there's even a cap on that. I've seen some organizations that are quite large and have a lot of reviewers or contacts assigned, especially when you get into organizations like CACS, for example, who are across multiple counties. So you'll see a lot more contacts in those sorts of organizations. Let me see, because I do see another question. Yeah, so Rachel asked about having a second email. From my understanding, it should go to whatever email is registered. Um, if they go to the same place, it should still reach out to that same email address. You shouldn't experience any issues with that. If you do happen to experience an issue, reach out to me and let me know, and we can address it. So, Michelle, if you did your annual review through the community organization portal, then you would already be set up on the new system. And so whatever you used to log in to complete that review, if you went to that website right now, the portal.mi211.org, you can log in again. You're welcome. Was there any other questions before I move forward to what it looks like while updating? Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. All right, so once you log in, this is kind of the main page that you're going to see. If you click on add, remove location and services, request a change to organization records, or need help, right now you're going to see kind of my contact information. So I'll put that in the chat at the end of the training, and then I will also share it on the final slide. You'll see all of my information. So if you do have any of that sort of updates needed, you can definitely reach out to me. And I will also put what we call our new program form in the chat as well. We were planning to bring some hard copies of that with us today, with it not being in person. Unfortunately, we don't have those, but you can fill those out online and email them over to me, and we can always get services added in that way too. So we're going to talk first about just what a general edit to your organization, or if you want to see what is listing with your organization, how you would do that. So if you want to click on My Organization at the top of the page, and when you click that, you would see something similar to this. This is LifeWays. This is an organization that we're kind of housed under. So this is kind of just what theirs looks like as a generic view. You'll see that next to this is kind of the main organization, and this is all the different services that are provided within the organization. These little boxes over here that are blue and say edit, even if you're not due for annual review, you can click that blue box and change information at any time. It will be sent over to the resource specialists, and then we can view those changes that you're trying to make, and we can submit those changes. It can take a few days for that to happen, especially right now. We are kind of working backwards. We're working in a new system, so bear with us a little bit. But if you're not seeing things processing in a week or so, you can reach out to me and see kind of what's happening. If there is something going on with technology, if for some reason it didn't submit. But that is going to be what you're going to want to click is that edit button. You'll also notice what we call our inactive services, and you can also put that on locations. When it's inactive, it's basically going to be gray, and it's going to have a little gray box that says inactive. And these are going to be the programs that are not currently running. In this instance, this is a very old program. It's probably just going to be deleted soon because it's been a few years since the cooling and warming center has operated. But this also will happen if you help with like utilities, for example. Let's say you get your funding in October, but you run out of that funding every year around April. When you no longer have that funding available, we'll place it inactive, which means you can see it and the resource specialists can see it, but our call staff cannot see it, the information and provide that information. It won't come up in a search, and it will not be listed on our public website. So that means we won't have to add the service every year. That's kind of what that's avoiding. So it's just saying right now, this is not an active program. If you see that inactive symbol on something that needs to be active, you can do that as well if you click edit. Or if you're seeing a program that should not be listed, but is listing as being active, you can also click edit and switch it over to inactive, and we can go ahead and make that change for you. I will also add, if it is something urgent, you're getting tons of calls for something you're not providing, you can email me and let me know, hey, I need this done quickly. This should be inactive. And I can go in and do that for you too. You don't have to do it through the system, but that's going to be kind of the easiest way, especially for mass edits. So we're going to go back to the main page here. And let's say you want to know who is listed as a contact for your organization. You don't want to have 20 people with access to the record. You just want it to be one or two. You can click on Manage Contacts at the top of the screen, or you can click on Update My Organization Contacts. When you click on either of those locations, you should get a page similar to this. And again, you can edit the person. So if they get married and their last name changes or their title changes, their phone number changes, anything like that, you can just click edit to fix that. You can also click remove access. I will highlight, please do not click remove access unless the individual is no longer employed or has no reason to have access to the 211 system. In removing access, it means they cannot log into the community organization portal at all. They cannot create a profile. We would have to create a whole new contact. If there is a new hire or someone that you think should be listed as a contact, you can click Create New Contact, and you would enter in their name, position, email, and phone number. We can then add that contact and invite them into the portal as well. I will just say with these two, I know there's been a lot of questions, people adding people, and they're expecting to see those changes happen right away. We do have to approve those as resource specialists as well, even if it's just something as simple as a last name change or spelling error. We are going in and we have to approve that too. So it does take a few days. It's not going to be instant. If you've submitted it once, you don't have to submit it over and over. I think there's been a little bit of a miscommunication there. So people are thinking that it's not processing, and it is. We just haven't gotten to processing it on our end. So when it comes to annual reviews, again, this is an annual process that 211 goes through for our accreditation purposes. So the annual reviewers are going to receive an email, again, from that same email address, letting them know that they're due for review at the beginning of the month that they're due for that review. So every organization has a month where each year we ask them to do that. Throughout that month, they should get 3 reminder emails from that organization portal. It'll come from that same email address, letting them know, hey, you're still due for a review. Did you forget about us? So please work on it then. If it is not completed during that month, then myself, one of the resource specialists, would attempt to email or call you to complete that review. And I will highlight here too, I just point out and let everyone know, we were on a temporary data freeze shifting from iCarol to this community organization portal. So there are going to be some organizations who were technically due for update back in August or July, and we never contacted you to let you know because we couldn't process your changes. Because of that, we couldn't process it as an annual review. So because of that, you are being contacted now to do that. If you are one of those organizations and you are contacted, in January or February, and you complete that review and you hear from us again in July or August, I understand that it can be time consuming, especially for some of you larger organizations. But please go ahead and do it again. I know it's twice in 1 year, but it probably doesn't hurt to do that anyway. And it's just getting everyone back to where they belong for work capacity, making sure that we're not trying to update the entire database in, 2 or 3 months, that we're spreading it out throughout the year. So this is an example of what that email will look like when we're requesting that annual update. So it will have your name. This is the 211 supervisor. I believe she's actually on the call as well. So she shared some of her screenshots for this reason. So you'll get this email letting you know when you're due for that review. So if it's not done by that date in blue, then you're going to be considered past due. If you click on Open Annual Review, you'll be taken to the org portal, and it's going to look a little bit different. So you're going to see at the top of your homepage, when you're due for that annual review, how long you have until it's considered past due, and how many records you're needing to open and review for it to be considered done. I will add, when you do these reviews, that you do want to submit even if there's no changes needed. That's just letting us know that you've seen it and you know what it says and you're good with what it says. Sometimes individuals will say, it looks great, I don't want to do anything to it, but we don't know that you've looked at it and seen that. So it is important to also let us know that it looks good. You can open this review in 2 ways. You can click where it says open review in the banner, or you can click fill out your annual review down in the common tasks. When you click that open, you'll be taken to this page. Again, it's going to tell you how many records you have and how long you have to complete that. At the top, you'll also see who your resource specialist is. This is one of my colleagues, Trina. So that's her information for her service area. But you should see mine if you are a Tri-County organization. And on the left-hand side, you're going to see everything that 211 currently lists for your organization. So every single location you have and every single service that you have at those locations is going to list on the left-hand side. As you complete the edits and updates, those reviews will move over to the right-hand side. And they'll say under the records submitted to 211, they'll come into the in review box here. If you submit something and you notice that you made a mistake and you want to edit something, you can still do that until it's processed by your resource specialist, and then you'd have to do it another way. But you can still do that. And you can also see initials of each person that is assigned as a reviewer on that level. So for this specific organization, at the top level, the organization's main record, there's actually 5 people who are assigned as reviewers. It can be like that for your organization, or some organizations choose to have it only be 1 person. So you'll see whoever is assigned as a reviewer there. When you're ready to review a section, you'll click on the blue box that says Start Review, and you'll be taken to a page that looks similar to this. Now, again, if you look at it and everything looks great and you don't want to change a thing, you'll click submit no changes at the top here, this green box that says submit no changes. It'll come over to the resource specialist letting them know everything looks great. We don't want to make a change. If, like we talked about, something needs to be made inactive, you can click edit status here and make it inactive or active if something is listing inactive and it should not be. And then you can also edit any of the different information that we list. So if, under the alternate name, you don't think it needs all of this, or, you've moved addresses, but we never got the memo, you can go ahead and click edit and make those changes. Again, it'll submit it over to the resource specialist, and we'll get that processed for you. Typically, it's supposed to be in less than 10 days. I am trying to get those processed in about a week or less. So you should see that change happen in a week. I think that's kind of the main training that we provided today. And like I said, I'll leave my information up for a minute. So if anyone does have specific questions that they're not comfortable sharing here, or if you want, further information, you can definitely reach out to me. If you run into issues while you're trying to complete updates, you can reach out to me anytime. And then Evelyn is our 211 program supervisor here at Central Michigan 211. So if we are needing her help too, I can always connect you with her, or she's kind of someone that you can reach out to if needed, if I'm unavailable or something greater is coming up.
Angel, could I ask
Yep.
you to go back to the point you were making when you showed the list of people, the contacts within an agency? So let's suppose that one of the people that's listed there is the person who's the current update or the current reviewer, and that person changes. They don't leave, but someone else takes over that role. You're saying you wouldn't say remove access, because even though they may not be the current reviewer, if they still work for that agency, you don't remove them because they might do it later or something. You would just add the new person. Is that what you were saying? Don't take out people that are still working there.
Yes. If you want me to have their information and be able to contact them, you don't want to remove them. Even if they are still an employee there, I know some organizations, once they reach, supervisor levels or directors, they don't want their information listed anymore. So, if a person was promoted and they no longer want any sort of access to 211, then we can go ahead and remove that access. It's just something I do always try to acknowledge. And if I see an active profile that someone has requested to be removed, I have been reaching out and saying, for my personal email, just saying, hey, like I saw this come through. It says that you want this person removed. Are you sure? Because they have an open profile with us. And typically it happened. It was that the email got forwarded to them and they made the profile so that they could go in and add themselves. That's what I'm seeing happening. But we have had a few people that have said, I just wasn't sure and I clicked something, don't remove it. So just kind of take note of that and take stock of that, not to remove someone unless you actually want them completely off of the record.
Did you see Jill's question in the chat? If you have multiple reviewers.
Yep. So if someone is listed as just a contact, they will not be receiving the email saying that it's time for an annual review. If they are listed as a reviewer, then they would receive that email. Let me see if I can get a screenshot of that here. I didn't even include that, and I probably should have. And just things do look a little bit different on my end because I am working on the opposite side of you guys. But you will see for contacts, there should be a box similar to this too, and I'm just going to put it in the chat for the best way of showing something similar to that. If you click on unassign, that's going to take that person off as a reviewer. Or if you click off that blue tab where they can no longer review the record. And then they would still be an agency contact. However, they're not going to be contacted anymore for that annual review. And if you do have someone receiving those emails or additional emails that you don't want them seeing, or we've had that too, just let me know and I can take them off as well or rearrange them where they may be better suited.